This lesson is going to be rather short again, and this lesson we're learning about the straw man. Okay? The straw man is a particular fallacy. Um, um, when it comes to the straw man, I want you to think of the straw man from, what's that movie? Dorothy. Why is the name escaping my mind? I say Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, but I know that's it. Wizard of Oz. There it goes. The straw man. That's the scarecrow, right? So a straw man is essentially a scarecrow, okay? The straw man fallacy that we're talking about, a straw man happens when we misrepresent our opponent's argument, when we misrepresent their position. Let's say that somebody, let's say that a certain politician is running for office and they have a stance on immigration. Their opponent comes along and gives a false or an incomplete account of their position. Then their opponent, in that false or misrepresenting account of their position, commits the straw man fallacy. Okay? So here's the definition now. We are witnessing a straw man fallacy when a speaker or writer attempts to dismiss a contention by distorting it or misrepresenting it. Well, you just believe that, and then insert some sort of dismissive thing there, distortion or misrepresentation of your view, then they are committing a straw man. Okay? Here's an example of a straw man. Let's say my wife and I have gone to dinner, and I was very taken by the waitressing skills of our waitress, and so I said, well, let's tip her 20%. My wife comes at me and says, you want to tip her 20%? And maybe you want to give her everything we make, but I quite frankly think that's ridiculous. Now, notice how it's a misrepresentation of my view of what I want to do. I want to tip her 20%. My wife is rejecting the idea that we should tip her 20% by mischaracterizing me as wanting to give her, quote, everything we make. That is, of course, ridiculous. It would be ridiculous to give your waitress everything you make. But it is not ridiculous to tip 20%. The only way we got to ridiculousness was my wife, in this case, assuming this would happen. I'm not saying it did, by the way, or it does. But assuming that she mischaracterized my view as being this, frankly, ridiculous view. That's what we call the straw man. Think of what a straw man or what a scarecrow does in a cornfield. The function of a straw man in a cornfield is to make it look like Farmer Ted is actually in the field so that the crows don't go get the corn, right? It's a fake Farmer Ted. It's not actually Farmer Ted. It's a representation of Farmer Ted. That's what the scarecrow fallacy is named after. The straw man fallacy is named after. It's the idea that you're misrepresenting your opponent. Oh, look, there's Farmer Ted. No, that's not really Farmer Ted. If you and I were sitting on a hill and we looked across and we saw what looked like Farmer Ted, and I knew it was the scarecrow, but you thought it was actually Farmer Ted, and I said, you know what, I'm going to go light that guy on fire, and I walk over there. You stay on the hill we're on, and I walk over to that hill, and I light the scarecrow on fire. They think, oh my God, you burned Farmer Ted, right? Which would be very interesting. I did not burn Farmer Ted. I burned the scarecrow. Farmer Ted is fine. What I attacked was not Farmer Ted. The same thing happens when we commit the straw man fallacy. Instead of an actual straw man or an actual scarecrow, however, the scarecrow or the straw man is a set of ideas. All right, that's it for this lesson.